Look closely at the next match you watch. Mexico, South Africa, Brazil, Argentina, Portugal, the United States, different countries, different leagues, different sponsors. And yet, almost every single player is wearing the exact same color on their feet. Pink. Not one team decided this. Not one brand decided this. Every major footwear company on the planet independently arrived at the same conclusion at the same time for the same tournament. That's not a coincidence. That's a calculation. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your eyes have been trained without you even noticing to follow a color you didn't choose. Let's start with what fans are actually seeing on the field right now. When the 2026 World Cup kicked off, viewers noticed something strange immediately. During the opening match between Mexico and South Africa, commentators on social media started pointing it out in real time. Not just one or two players, entire rosters, Nike, Adidas, Puma, New Balance, Skechers, 5 competing companies, each spending millions to outdo each other every single year, all releasing boot collections in nearly identical shades of pink. Adidas called theirs the Road to Glory Pack. Nike called theirs the Breakout Collection. Puma called theirs the Showtime Pack. 3 different names, 3 different marketing teams, one identical color. Football boot historian Ben Warren, who specializes in rare and classic footwear, said something that stuck with a lot of people. This is too consistent to be a coincidence. So here's the obvious question. If these brands are bitter rivals, no sheenint fighting for the same sponsorship deals, the same athletes, the same billion-dollar market, why or would they all make the exact same decision? Think about how unusual that actually is. These companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars every year, specifically trying to look different from each other. Different logos, different campaigns, different athletes attached to different identities. Nike wants you to think innovation. Adidas wants you to think heritage. Puma wants you to think speed. And yet, for the single biggest stage in world football, the one event where being different matters more than ever, all of them quietly chose to look exactly the same. That's not the kind of decision that happens by accident. That's the kind of decision that happens when multiple companies are independently chasing the exact same data. To understand what that data actually showed them, we need to talk about something most fans have never thought about: how football actually reaches your eyes. Every match at this World Cup is being broadcast in ultra-high definition. 2 more countries, on more devices than any tournament in history. And in that format, something becomes incredibly important that didn't matter as much 20 years ago. Visual contrast. A black boot, these are the traditional choice for generations, disappears into the dark green of a stadium pitch during a fast camera pan. A neon pink boot does the opposite. It cuts through everything. According to reporting from the BBC, this entire trend is rooted in something closer to optical science than fashion. Pink offers the most extreme visual contrast against green grass of almost any color in existence. So during replays, during close-ups, during the slow motion shot of a game-winning goal, that boot is impossible to miss, and neither is the logo on it. Here's where the marketing strategy becomes clear. By making the boots the most visually dominant object on the entire pitch, every camera angle, every broadcast, every highlight reel becomes free advertising. Whether the brand wanted it to or not, the player's foot becomes a moving billboard. visible to hundreds of millions of people every single match. Sports marketing research has shown something else too. Bold, unified color trends tend to drive a noticeable spike in retail sales after major tournaments. Fans don't just watch the booths, they go out and buy them. This is not a new strategy in sports, but the scale of it here is. In past World Cups, you'd see maybe 1 or 2 teams experiment with a bright color, a handful of standout players. The rest of the pitch stayed in traditional black, white or team-matched tones. What makes 2026 different is the coordination. 5 separate companies that normally wouldn't agree on anything, landed on the same shade, the same strategy, the same timing, all without any official agreement between them. It's an example of what marketing analysts sometimes call a convergent strategy. When competitors independently reach the same conclusion because the underlying incentive is identical for everyone. There's also a psychological angle. Speaking to the athletic Odinga Nimako, a senior figure in Nike's global football footwear division, explained that the shift towards pink wasn't random. It came from what athletes themselves were saying. Players increasingly associate bold, loud colors with confidence, with standing out, with individuality on the biggest stage in the sport. In other words, the players wanted this too. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. When every brand chases the exact same psychological effect, using the exact same color, at the exact same time, the strategy backfires in a strange way. Fans watching at home have started reporting something unexpected. They can no longer easily tell players apart by their boots. The one thing that was supposed to make each brand stand out from its competitors has instead made almost everyone look identical. Commentators have pointed out the irony directly. This was supposed to be about differentiation, and instead, it created the most uniform visual look the World Cup has ever had. So if everyone is wearing pink, who isn't? A few notable exceptions exist, and they tell their own story. FIFA regulations require match officials, the referees, to wear traditional black boots supplied by Adidas, no exceptions. While players experiment with color, the officials remain visually separated from the chaos on purpose. And a handful of global superstars chose something different entirely. Lionel Messi will wear boots in white and light blue, matching Argentina's national colors, finished with shimmering gold accents. Christian Pulisic's boots carry a design inspired by the United States flag. And as a tribute to his 6th and likely final World Cup, Nike is releasing special all-gold boots in honor of Cristiano Ronaldo's career. A one-of-one statement in a sea of identical pink. These exceptions aren't random either. They are calculated the same way the pink trend was. When literally everyone is wearing the same color, true individuality becomes the rarest, most valuable signal of all. Think about the irony of that for a second. In a world where being the loudest used to mean standing out, the loudest color in football right now belongs to almost everyone. Which means the real status symbol in 2026 isn't wearing pink anymore. It's being one of the very few players who didn't need to. So the next time you're watching a match and you see that flash of bright pink streak across the screen during a goal celebration, you're not just watching football. You're watching one of the most quietly effective marketing campaigns in the history of the sport. 5 competing billion-dollar companies, all independently deciding that the fastest way to be seen was to all look exactly the same. It is, in its own strange way, the most coordinated, uncoordinated decision in football history. If you want to see more of the hidden stories behind this World Cup, the stadiums, the music, the records, we've already covered them. Links in the description. Subscribe to Anthem Law. New World Cup story every single day until the final on July 19th. I'll see you tomorrow.